You know what's one thing that I feel like tons of people forget? And that is that times move on. Which sounds extremely cool in my head until I actually said it, and it kind of sounds pretty dumb. But basically, what I mean is that things change, and something that used to be cool back then isn't really like cool now. Now I know what you're saying. Why am I bringing this up? Well, that's because I'm talking about one thing that most content creators hate. Something that they just fear of, and I know it's like one thing that just keeps them up at night, and that is the fear of falling off or being washed up. Basically, not really being relevant anymore, and just no one really cares about you anymore. If your whole career is based on the internet and based on like people watching your video or people watching your content or just people interacting you in general, you falling off is just basically saying it's over. It's time to put up the towel because now absolutely no one cares about you and you basically can't run anymore. And I feel like we ended up seeing one of the biggest fall offs of all time, and it has to do with Vice. Vice is something that used to be big back in the day, where they used to make absolutely crazy and insane videos, and videos that people absolutely will want to watch. I remember them being big around like 5 to 6 years ago, and that's something that a lot of people agree with, because if you go and like check out your channel, those are usually the videos that will usually be big. It's the videos that they made a while ago, because they used to make a lot of pretty good content. When people used to think about Vice, they think about like high quality stuff. And this is something that I wouldn't even know if it's even true, because I'm gonna be honest, I did not used to watch Vice at all, because back then in their glory days 5 or 6 years ago when people actually used to care about them, I was not watching that type of content. I was like too busy watching like commentary channels and stuff like that. There's literally only one Vice video I actually remember watching. It was when one guy opened a restaurant in his backyard and like he bought a bunch of bots on TripAdvisor. I don't know if he bought bots or if he paid people to like upvote his restaurant on TripAdvisor, and basically a bunch of people ended up going to the restaurant and acting like it was the best thing of all time, even though that restaurant was literally terrible. One, it was in a man's backyard, and two, the food that he was feeding you was like extremely low quality. It was literally food that you can make at home, but because I guess people were just scared to miss out and it was like this big trendy thing on TripAdvisor, a bunch of people were like, oh my god, look how amazing this restaurant is, and it's like super duper cool. That's literally the only Vice video I remember watching. Everything else on their channel is just like, I don't know, I never really cared enough to watch it, and I don't think I'm alone on that. I think even in their glory days, there were tons of people who were like me and just didn't care about this channel at all. Tons of people used to watch them back in the day, but not anymore, because now they have basically fell off because they have filed for bankruptcy. Yeah, they're basically no more, and it's kind of over for Vice. I don't really see how they're going to move forward for this, and I think this is going to be the beginning of their end, and I think they're just going to like very slowly and pathetically fall off. Kind of like most companies who are in their state, they're going to try their hardest to like make it and like clench to like some relevancy as long as they can, even though absolutely no one cares about them, because who even watches Vice? Now, the main reason why Vice ended up falling off is they really changed the form of their content, because again, back then when people used to think about Vice, they used to think about them making like long-term videos and very like high-quality videos, but they kind of completely changed and went to making like daily videos and basically mass-producing videos as much as possible, basically just slop content. That's what a lot of people really call them now, and it seems like their audience didn't really like that at all. And it also didn't really help that they were extremely repetitive. Usually they'll talk about like the same 3 topics over and over again. Those will be the only 3 things that they'll talk about, and it got extremely boring for a lot of people, and a lot of their audiences didn't really care anymore, which just kind of led to their slow decline to basically where they are now, where they're just completely fall off and no one really cares about them anymore, and well, now they're at this state. And it's something that's not really surprising, because I think a lot of these companies that used to be like extremely big and popular back then, basically no one cares about them at all. Man, and another reason why it looks like they just aren't really relevant anymore seems to be like a lack of innovation, because ever since they decided to change their form of content to basically make like the daily slop, their fan base didn't like it, but for some weird reason they still continue doing it, so people were just leaving slowly over time, and they just didn't really have anything else to do. They're just like, let me do the same thing over and over and over again, and then they're shocked that it's not really going good at all. And it also seems like they're not really anywhere else. Like, yeah, they're on Twitter and they're on other platforms, but they don't really seem to be doing like a good job to actually get other people's attention and to make them care enough to actually go on their website, because that's basically the only thing that they want. They upload like YouTube videos and they basically do everything else just so there's a chance that someone can like go on their website and go check them out. It basically seems like no one really cares about doing that at all. So what left do they really have? I mean, now they're trying to like change their former content, but it's kind of too late now because the content that they are now going in, other creators and other companies basically just do it better. Like a good example, they're trying to do like this public interview thing where someone wears a mask and it's like an anonymous interview. But why would people go and watch something like that where you could just go and watch like a cut video or like a Jubilees video, which are just like infinite content farm? Like if you're a YouTuber and you have no clue what to talk about, you could basically just log on and just react to like one of their videos of like the button or something. I mean, there's basically whole YouTubers who make their whole career or basically like shift their content doing something like that. Like, oh my god, a brand new episode of The Button came out. Let me go and react about it and talk about how terrible it is. Look how bad it is. Or like Jubilees made a brand new video. Look how cringe it is. I know some people are going to be thinking, did you react to The Button and stuff? Yeah, because one, I actually used to think that show used to be entertaining until now they're just milking it to the absolute ground. It's just so boring, I just don't want to watch it anymore. They can't even step into that field because there's already people who are doing it like 2 times better than they ever would. So yeah, it just kind of leads them just to continuously falling off. I was gonna say sad to see, not really. I don't really care that much, but that's just something I wanted to add it in. I think another company that shows a good example of a company that's fallen off and easily has to be BuzzFeed. I remember back in the day, like around 2016, there used to be tons of commentary YouTubers who used to talk about BuzzFeed. Like, oh my god, they made this extremely cringe article, or look what this person says, or how could someone do something like this? It was basically like a content form where if you didn't have a video to talk about or you didn't know what to do, just go on BuzzFeed and you just make fun of like one of their multiple stupid articles. And that was really good for it because it made them relevant. Even though most of the time when people talk about that company, it was just people making fun of them, it made some people to go check out the articles, which made them stay relevant. But this is just something that you don't see anymore because these companies just fell off. There's tons of other YouTubers who are basically making videos that Vice used to make. So much YouTubers who are making way more high quality videos that they make. There's really no reason to go and watch them anymore. It also doesn't help that other newer people has basically ended up taking their place of their content. And as time goes by, you're going to see more and more of these companies slowly going away. And I think the crazy part is on how hard they fall off. I really don't think anyone cares that much. I don't really care that Vice is going away. I'm assuming that you don't even care that Vice is going away. And if you are someone who watched this video and you're like super duper new to the internet, or someone who's like kind of young, or someone who just didn't really watch YouTube around like the 2016 or 2015 era, you probably don't even know who Vice is. I'm pretty sure it'll be very easy to like go out in public and talk about Vice, and there will be a good majority of people who have no clue what they are and will just look at you like absolutely confused. Anyway, my name is Lua. This is someone that I want to talk about. You have a good day or night. See you.